Our 100th episode that we have been teasing that we do not know what we were going to do for has finally been announced. July 8th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's God's time. 7:30 p.m. God's time. You will find us over on Facebook, over on YouTube. Can we go anywhere else?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, those are the two places you'll find us. July 8th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, the Towing Life podcast 100th episode. Stay tuned for announcements to come. We're going to get some stuff put together for you guys. We're going to have a great Saturday night.
Can't wait to see you there.
Well, you're not going to see them.
True. Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Towing Life podcast.
Welcome to the Towing Life podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I'm your host, TowManG, and as usual, we're joined by my co-host, friend, and former co-worker, the man with very strong opinions, Mr. PlainGuy.
What is going on, G? What is going on?
Oh, you laughing while I was doing my spiel damn near made me screw up, but here we are.
Well, the true professional that you are, you seem to find an easy way to recover from it. So congratulations to you on a milestone in your professional career. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The student has now become the master. The man has been able to bounce back from even the funniest of moments and keep a straight face. I think you're ready for the big screen.
Really?
I mean,
well, maybe I'll just have to. Maybe I'll have to ask the YouTube listeners to put me on full screen then. And then we'll call that the big screen.
I'll put you on the big screen. We can definitely make that happen. We can just do that. Didn't work at all. What my plan was. I don't know how to make
you on the big screen.
I put myself on big screen. I don't know how do I put you on big screen.
I don't know. There we go. I am now on big screen. Hi.
I think the problem is whenever I do that, we switch sides, is that I lose audio completely because I'm out of the room. I'm in our wonderful digital green room, as we like to call it, where we put our wonderful guests when we do have wonderful guests on the Towing Life podcast. So once again, welcome back to another episode of the Towing Life podcast, episode 99. 99? I don't know if you know that reference, but if you do, I'm sure you got a giggle. If you don't, just take it as PlainGuy's got a little bit of Tourette's and gone off the deep end.
I don't think Tourette's does 99 stuff normally.
Have you ever seen, there's a girl, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody before we get into this with Tourette's. It's not what I meant when I said I was going to piss people off today.
Sweet Anita?
What? Sweet
Anita? Is that who you're talking about?
Is it the girl that cooks?
No, it's the gamer girl who has Tourette's.
Oh, no. Okay, so there is these TikTok, Instagram, I don't know what they're on. I watch them on Facebook. I don't know where they came from. Somewhere on the internet, but it's a girl with Tourette's who tries to cook, and she's got a lot of tics, right? Like Tourette's is not just the words, but it's actually like tics, and it's entertaining and comical, only because she seems to really be having a good time with it.
Yeah,
I'd feel bad about laughing about this and talking about this if she was like crippled by it. Like she seems to be a person who really embraces it, but like watching her try and crack an egg when she's got one of her tics going. I'm pretty sure she just takes one and smashes it on herself. Like it's a severe case that she has of it. But man, she tries to make the best of it. She's got her best friend with her the whole time because like shit gets out of hand real quick. So I can't remember her name, but if you haven't seen it, go find her. Girl with Tourette's who cooks. I mean, it'll screw up your algorithm searching for that. I can only imagine. Let me ask you that before we get too far. What is your Facebook algorithm? Like we all have an algorithm, which is stuff that, you know what I mean? You'll see those same videos or that same type of video over and over again. What is your algorithm?
Now that I think about it, most of it is heavy haul trucking, like super wide loads, stuff like that, and farm tractors. That's pretty much it.
I'm gonna go through mine right now to check. I get a lot of golf because I've been playing golf and everything else lately and buying golf things, so they figured me out. I'm trying to remember other big ones. A lot of golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another golf one. Why is my door open? All right. A lot of cooking ones.
Mm.
So cooking, golf, and yeah, random funny stuff that I probably
We
shouldn't
got
laugh.
lots of farm auctions too.
Again, given your background and your history, that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. So
Yeah.
before we get too far into the episode, we got a lot to go over today on the episode, and we got a lot to get to before the episode. First off, if you haven't seen it, because he hasn't cut it anywhere into the intro, welcome to the good news. Our 100th episode is coming up, right? For you listening when this comes out, it is less than a week away. Our 100th episode is coming out July, I forgot the date, I put it in big, 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's 7:30 p.m. God's time, right? God lives on the East Coast. I'm a big believer in that. You will find myself, Mr. TowManG, yet to be confirmed or even asked, producer Sarah. We'll try and get her on as well for the episode. Right here on Facebook. Well, I guess you're not listening to this on Facebook. On YouTube. With the follow-up episode, if you can't make our live, coming out on the regular day, the regular Tuesday. We will replay it over on Spotify, over on YouTube. So if you don't get a chance to catch it, be sure to head over, see everything you missed. We are working on some giveaways. We're working on some little contests, some fun we're going to have, some interaction. If you want to get a question and you can't make it to the live, if you can make it to the live on YouTube or Facebook, you can comment right on the chat. We will interact right with the chat. We will answer your questions. So bring your A game, bring your best questions. Ask G about his chickens. It'll make him the happiest boy in the world. If you show up on July 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and ask him how his chickens are doing, or his peacocks. He's a man of many feathers. If not, if you can't make our live, be sure to send us over a message. How do you do that, G? How do you get some information to us or questions to us?
Well, you can go to us or email us at thetowinglife@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at The Towing Life Podcast, or you can search us up in the interwebs and go to our website at www.towinglife.ca.
There is a
Now,
contact us form on the towinglife.ca.
Yes, there is a contact us form there. But if you do come to the live and ask me how my chickens are doing, I'm going to tell you one thing, and that they're in the freezer. Because when you're listening to this today, July the 4th, they go to the butcher.
You're slaughtering the chickens.
I am slaughtering the chickens.
Let's have a moment of silence for the chickens that were lost in the making of this episode.
The chickens weren't lost in the making of this episode. They will be used to help provide me sustenance to make future episodes.
Is sustenance the word?
I think so. Because you eat food, which gives you sustenance, which gives you energy to do things.
Well, if that is the case, you have definitely outworded me on this week's crossword.
Yep.
I was thinking like substance. You may or may not be right on that one. So,
Also, happy 4th of July.
absolutely. It has been awesome to hear. So, it is the 4th of July for all our American listeners.
Yeah. Happy
And-
Canada Day, too, for us Canucks, but that was a couple days ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for being Canadian, we're not even going to celebrate Canada Day on the show, but we will recognize our neighbors to the south, our gun-toting, freedom-loving.
They're also our neighbors to the north, too. Just remember that.
Yeah, people of Alaska don't count. Sarah Palin doesn't count. Shots fired. That's what they said in Chicago. So welcome to our wonderful neighbors down in the south, and as G pointed out, to the northwest. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Please, for the love of God, don't blow off any appendages. Right? Like, I'd like to see the stat on how many people blow off, like, fingers or emergency room visits due to firework malfunctions on the 4th of July. It falls on a Tuesday. So I feel like you guys got really lucky and are really going to drag that weekend out. Like, it is going to be a 4th of July week, right? Yeah. You're going to start on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everyone's going to play hooky on Monday. Tuesday's the holiday, and nobody's going to show up to work on Wednesday. It's a pretty good setup. It's like when Christmas
Unless you're a tow
falls.
operator, then in which case you probably won't get the weekend off.
Yeah, that's a shame. I wonder what if I imagine towing on 4th of July is no different than towing on Canada Day, just with more alcoholism.
Yeah.
Is that pretty fair to assume? Like we get a lot of DUIs and stuff on Canada Day, but like ours falls
Well,
on a
it's either
Saturday.
50-50. It's either really busy or dead.
Yeah, ours falls on a Saturday this year, which is great.
Yeah.
We get to celebrate our independence from the not the Queen, because I think we're still tied there, or King. But we get to celebrate our national bird, the cobra chicken. We get to feast on the meese. No one down in the States can understand that one. And it's officially the start of summer, which means our igloos have melted and we've moved into our summer homes.
Yeah. And this is when you see all the videos of the polar bears swimming because the ice is melted.
Yeah. Don't let Al Gore fool you. That is just Canadian summer.
Yeah.
That is not global warming. That is Canadian summer. So in celebration of 4th of July, I put together a little list of what I found were fun things the U.S. invented. One of them was ways to track gun crimes. That was number one on the list.
Okay.
No. So fun American inventions. The Ferris wheels. I don't know why it was necessary, who thought of it, but congratulations, US, on being the inventors of the Ferris wheels. And some things that actually apply to towing. Traffic lights. I don't know why. I don't know if you've driven in New York. People just drive through them anyways. Crash test dummies. Which I got a question. Wait, I can do the research on this, but gee, what do you think came first? The crash test dummies or the traffic lights?
Traffic lights.
And then you think that?
Yeah, I think traffic lights. Well, you got to think they've been signaling rail for a very long time. So I think traffic lights came out pretty early on. As soon as like towns started getting electricity in the main roads.
So the crash test dummy was invented in 1949. Which is like fairly new into the automotive industry, if you think about it.
They didn't have a single crash test dummy for anything they pumped out in World War II.
I didn't think of it that way. That's scary. Wow. Yeah, that is in mass production, everything else. This is actually a crazier fact. When was the first car invented? When was the first car?
1904, I think.
What?
It's 1904, I think.
Okay, so 1912 is when the first traffic light came out.
I figured.
So before that, it was just stop signs. But that is crazy. 1949, the first crash test dummy. That means, yeah, absolutely nothing in World War II had a crash test dummy.
Well, I mean, cannon fodder was a thing then, so I guess they did have crash test dummies. As bad as that sounds.
So
4th of July, you're supposed to honor all the troops, and I'm not saying any diminishing factors to that.
No. It's just let's be honest. It's the reality of the history. Light emitting diodes, also known as LEDs, which are all the flashy things that we can put on our trucks nowadays. So thank you for that. And GPS, global positioning system, satellites. Yeah. What I find crazy is, and this is going to be a throwback, like, I don't think tow ops like us realize how easy our job is now.
That we don't have to carry like 8 roadmap books in the truck to navigate where we got to go.
Roadmap books, contacting customers for better location. Right, like
having to stop at a payphone and write down their number and
let's put it back, and there'll be I really don't think anyone from that time will listen to this show because they haven't figured out what a podcast is yet. But that being said, right, like think of a time the phone call comes in from the shop. Now, how'd the phone call come in from the shop? Was because the people who broke down walked to the nearest house that had a phone, made the phone call. Luckily back then, people back then were a lot better with directions, which I think really helped.
And more people were understanding if you walked up and knocked on their door asking to use their phone.
100%. you know, I don't know how it was in the States. I can tell you in Canada, even to this day, you can still walk up. I mean, nowadays it's a scam. That's what people do, right? They have like scams of broken down cars and everything else. But yeah, so, you know, they broke down, they got a phone, they called, you left the shop. Your dispatch has little to no information on where you are, right? Like, how are you, like, you would finish up a call. So you would find this car if you could find it. You would go to wherever the hell they wanted to go.
Yep.
You bring it there, you get paid, everything's good. You'd go back to the office.
Yeah.
Or
unless you had a pager.
Or a payphone. I'm talking before pagers.
Hmm.
Like towing has been around for a long time, well before a lot of this technology.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I don't think we appreciate how efficient we've been able to make things and how easy we have it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, everyone's got a cell phone. But what's funny is nobody knows where they are. We have the world in our pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And no customers know where they are, where they want to go, or what kind of goddamn car they're driving.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Tell you what, you send me your location through your phone, you take a picture of your car and send it to me so I know what you're driving,
Yeah.
and
send me a
you just
Google
point
search
on the
where
map
you
of
want to
where
go.
you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's crazy, right? Like, as technology has improved and everything has gotten better, we've gotten so much more reliant and stupid.
Yeah. The more phones have gotten smarter, the dumber the population has become.
I've said that. Smarter cars, dumber drivers. It's the reality of it. But yeah, it's crazy to think back. I couldn't, you know, and we sound like, you know, millennials and whatever, that younger generation talking about that. But like, I couldn't imagine having all the map books out, getting the address, like, you know what I mean? Like, cross streets are super important. Like, I was able to move into an area I'd never been before and start towing almost immediately with, you know, little to no knowledge of the area just based on GPS.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You still had to learn and figure things out to find efficient ways and everything else, but you couldn't do that back when.
No.
You couldn't imagine moving up to that area and going, it's at, you know, concession this and concession this. I go, huh? Get the map out. Okay, concession this goes 200 kilometers all the way this way. There's a
What's the cross
concession.
street? Okay, that kind of narrows it down.
There's a concession 7 in the 7 townships surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where we have
roads were also named differently back then.
Yeah. Well, there was road A and B.
But like how in New York City, how they have all the roads are numbered. That's pretty much what it was here. So we had concession 1, 2, 3, 4, and everything was a country mile apart. So if you knew you were going to concession 10 and you're at 1, well, drive in that direction. If you don't see concession 2, turn around and go the other way.
No, it is fair. It's just, yeah, it made me think of how, you know, with GPS and everything else, and how it's really changed the towing industry
for the better.
You know what else has changed the towing industry for the better? The Recovery of the Month contest that comes out every month in 2023. Be sure to get your submissions in. Visit us at towinglife.ca/recovery to submit yours. You can win a $50 Canadian Amazon gift card on behalf of whatever month sponsor is out that month. You can get a gift card. You can get a spot in our 2024 calendar. Contest runs till the day before October 1st, 2023, because I can never.
September 30th.
Is there? No, there's 31. No, there's 30.
No, there isn't.
Okay, fine. Contest runs till September 30th, 2023. Be sure, head over to towinglife.ca/recovery. Send us a photo of one of your best recoveries and a small description of what it did. We will rate it. We will pick a winner. We've done January, February, March, April, May, June. There is still 6 months to go. 6 opportunities for you to win a spot in our 2024 calendar and your Canadian $50 Amazon gift card. Submit now. Submit often. Thank you.
Hopefully you put it in now when the Canadian dollar is better, so the transfer rate's better for you.
There you go.
Because if the Canadian dollar goes down, then you'll get less money if you're in the States.
That's true. I haven't looked at what the Canadian dollar is lately, but it hadn't been great the last little while. So
yeah, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know either. I haven't invested in it, put it that way. And don't forget, if you're watching us over on YouTube, don't forget to leave a comment down below, hit the like, hit the thumbs up, hit the notify so that you get notified when we go live for our 100th episode, July 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern God's time.
Yeah. If you're subscribed, you'll get a thing on your YouTube anyways.
Perfect. And that's for Shadow Band. So
Yeah.
I want to go
Awesome.
back to a topic that we talked a bit about last week.
Okay.
It was your topic that you brought up. And you know
Mhm.
what? I told your obituary story to somebody the other day. And it was,
Oh,
it
yeah?
was really touching to this guy. Yeah. This guy was going through some stuff. And he goes like, how do you be a good person? Like, what is your goal in life? I'm like, I had somebody tell me that write your obituary and work backwards from there.
Mm.
And I'm like, that shit really stuck with me. It's one of the few things you've ever said to me in our years and years of friendship. And I mean, we've got to be going on 7-8 years.
Yeah.
That I remember.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, it's
remember.
only been a week, so we'll see.
That's true. Let's see how long that goes. But
Yeah.
no, the thing you brought up is what is in a name kind of thing, and how people carried their family name.
Mhm.
And it was a thing to honor and a thing to be proud of. And
Mhm.
it got me to thinking that it applies in so many ways to this industry in your company name. And I don't just mean do you have a cool name,
Yeah.
but I mean you wear that company name on your chest, literally.
Oh.
Well, if you have company supplied uniforms, which I'm hoping most of us do, somewhere on your person, day in, day out of working, you wear that company name. And how important is it for a company to have a good name? And a good name isn't just flashy trucks and cool slogans and how much money they made that year.
Mhm.
A good name for a company can go a lot of different ways. It can be how you interact with your customers, how you handle bad reviews or damage claims or the negatives that come along with the industry, and what you do to promote and support your local economy, customers, families, and all the community work that you do. Your company name is probably one of the biggest things out there, and we see so many good and bad.
Mhm.
Right? There was companies that people have never heard of outside of a small area, and that's okay. Right? We both worked for a company that name carried weight.
Mhm.
That name had been around for a long time.
Yep. Over 50 years.
Over 50 years.
Yep.
And was always tied to good things. And then you hear of these companies, these fly-by-nighters coming in overnight and buying up every towing company that they could find.
Mhm.
And just running a name into the dirt and not giving a shit, because at the end of the day, they're making millions of dollars. And they'll turn around and open up a new name the next day.
Yep.
A company name that is worth something is, or that carries some weight is I don't think you can put a dollar value on that.
No, like I know a lot of tow companies where if they were to sell, the company itself isn't worth anything. It's the name and the phone number that's the only value for the towing company.
Yep. And so for operators, does that play a factor? I mean, it has to when you're looking for employment, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, obviously a company with a good name in the public, you would think normally comes back to having good internal workings, has good employee standards, has good, a good reputation isn't just on one thing. It's normally based on multi levels.
I had a company reach out wanting to hire me. And I've dealt with this company before and their name isn't good, like at all. And I turned them down multiple times just because I didn't like the way they carried themselves on the side of the road. I didn't like how they treated potential customers on the side of the road, and I just didn't like their business ethics. They seemed skimy, and yeah, I just
Is that why you
don't.
kept turning me down when I'd offer you jobs? Here, I thought it was because you didn't want to see me more.
No, yours is because I would have to move halfway across the province.
It's not even halfway, chum. It's like an eighth. It's a big province.
Yeah, fair enough.
24 hours from one end to the other.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. And that plays a lot. Now, I do believe there's operators out there that don't care. And for some guys starting off, you might not know the company's reputation, right? Reputation is something, a name you start to learn a little bit more over spending time in the industry. You do know it from a consumer side right off the hop, if you've used a towing company or if you've heard references from people that have.
Or you've checked the reviews prior to applying for the position.
Reviews are huge.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in reviews. Anytime I stay at a hotel, anytime I book a restaurant, I look at reviews other than my locals, right? Because I don't care. I got this one spot in Cornwall. I don't care if they have a half-star review. They have awesome Thai food. And so I don't give a shit. I never look at the reviews for local stuff like that. But no, when I'm traveling and I'm staying in a hotel, I absolutely look at reviews. Right? When I'm going to a restaurant, like my wife and I are going away this weekend.
No.
And we're going to finally celebrate our anniversary. Going to Cirque du Soleil. And so I told her I'd bring her to a nice dinner. And so I'm checking reviews. Right? Like reviews are important. So yeah, it's, and I've seen, like, I'm lucky enough to work for a company that has a lot of reviews. And I think we're sitting around like a 4.8 out of 5.
Good.
So
that's good.
Carrying a company name, like I said, a company name that, like, I wear literally sometimes doing this show that I try and hide on my sleeve. You want to be proud of the name that you work in and the name that you carry. And, you know, it goes to the kind of the giving a shit and the passion in the industry. And I think it's easier to care when you work for a company that cares, and you work for a company that carries a good name and carries a good reputation around.
And I think it's a double-edged sword, because if the company is put together well and they have a good name behind them, the drivers and the workers there are probably going to be a bit more passionate and a bit more caring about the company name. If you work for, let's just use a roadside company, for example, one of the contractors that only has the roadside name on the door,
Yeah.
you don't really care about the company that actually employs you, because you're probably not doing any of their work anyways. It's probably not a very well-known company because they can't advertise their company on their trucks, which is one of the biggest marketing platforms us as towers have, is our driving billboards.
Yep.
So you're probably not going to care too much about the actual company that has employed you. You might care about the roadside, but you probably don't care about the company that employed you.
I don't think you care about the roadside either.
Well, some people might. You never know.
You wouldn't believe how many people don't, like, in the general public I'm talking about, don't understand that roadsides don't own their own tow trucks.
Yep.
Right? Like, they believe, because I've seen them. I'm telling you, they don't own them. Right? We actually, so fun story, off topic. We had a customer the other day call. We got a customer call through a roadside. And we showed up to provide said roadside. And we didn't have a roadside acknowledgement on our truck. Never have. And the customer, obviously being from the greater Toronto area, thought she was being scooped. And at first refused my driver to service her. Even though they would have gotten a notification normally.
Yep.
Refused until she could talk to said roadside and confirm that we were the provider. She's like, I just didn't want to get a bill in the mail in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, hun,
that's not how the towing
you're from, but
works.
You wouldn't have, if it was a somebody trying to scoop you. You weren't going to get it in 2 weeks. You were going to get it in 2 minutes when they had your car on the back. But no, it was just funny to see out in our rural area. We never run into that. Yeah. And this lady, being from Toronto, was like, adamant. My driver called me. He's like, I don't know what to do. She's telling me I can't hook up the car. Like, what do I do in this situation? I'm like, I'll call her. And so I called her, and I'm like, I hear we're having a bit of a situation. She's like, no, I just want to confirm that your company is actually contracted. I'm like, well, this is my name. This is the company I'm with, and you can give them a call, and I assure you that they will tell you that we are contracted. But yeah, it was, but again, yes, some people are proud of the roadside that they work for. Some people are very proud. What scares me is, and you've seen it so many times, how multi-generational can be good and bad.
Yeah.
Right? A second generation or third generation family. I love seeing that in the towing industry. Those are people that are truly committed and proud of the industry in which they work. But at the same time, you can have a second or third generation that can destroy a company.
Yeah. Well, there's actually multiple things to that, because I know, especially if you look at a lot of the older generations, the older guys who have been doing it all their life, they keep everything pretty close to their chest, right?
Yep.
If their son or daughter, okay, you can work for me, but you drive the truck, right? I do everything else. You drive the truck. You may, if you're the son or daughter in this position, you may know how to tow flawlessly. But
Yeah.
when your dad or mom or whoever retires, well, they kept all the billing to themselves. They kept all like multiple key factors of running this business to themselves. And you see that in a lot of industries, not just
I
towing.
think you see that more though in the smaller ones,
Yeah.
right? Because in the bigger companies, and to be a bigger
Well,
company,
yeah, you have people to do different things. You have a finance guy.
but it's not even that. It's that in a bigger company, you have more vision.
Mhm.
Right? If you're going to be in a bigger, and this doesn't just apply to towing, this is in the world. If you're going to be in a bigger company, bigger owners tend to have more vision. That's how they get to the place that they're at. And that
Mhm.
vision will normally encompass a succession plan.
Yeah.
Right? It'll normally encompass an idea that when I'm gone,
Mhm.
and so I want to train or, have a protege that I can teach this, whether that be that kid, their kids or somebody else.
Mhm.
So they start to teach them those things over but the smaller companies, yes, when there isn't that vision, I don't want to say it in a negative way. I don't mean it like, some small mom and pop shop can't have vision. But what I mean is they don't have the vision sometimes to think past that.
Yeah.
And we're going to be here forever to help you out. And we're going to do, like, remember when we worked together, that situation they got caught up in, it was a sudden, change
Mhm.
of ownership, and
Yeah.
probably thinking they had more time to do the training. Now they did a fine job,
Mhm.
right? But I think it's something that I could see smaller mom and pop shops, you're right, having that issue.
Yeah.
Because dad or mom ran everything. And when she was gone, the next generation wasn't trained and ready to take it over.
Yeah.
But bigger companies, I don't think that's more of a problem. I think sometimes it can be entitlement too. In a bigger company, there could be a little more privilege.
Yeah.
I tell my boss all the time that his privilege is showing.
Hmm.
You know,
That's the other flip side of the coin. Like if you are a child of a very successful company that you've never really had a part of, and every time you see your mom and dad, they aren't hands on with that company, you will grow up with the understanding that that company just runs itself.
yeah.
And if they retire or pass on and you get thrown into the boots, you're going to take one look at it and you're just going to be way overwhelmed because you don't understand the workload that comes with it. And you're just probably going to sell.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The responsibilities and the reality of it come in, and if you can't handle it and you can't adapt on the fly, you can maybe try your hardest. It doesn't quite work out. You might be right. You're left in no position other than to sell, shut it down, whatever the case may be, and move on from it. So, no, it is interesting though. Company name, I think, is one of the most important things out there. Right? Like I said, they're big billboards.
Yeah.
Better have a good name rolling down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you talked about, um, you know if you were, a successful company and all that, the time your parents put in, you didn't see them putting that time in, you didn't see firsthand. It brings us to a thing, and we brought it up on last week's show. I think we brought it up, or did we mention it after? I don't remember. About currency. I was very adamant that I want to talk about this. I was listening to a couple podcasts like I do every week whenever I finally find some spare time.
Yeah.
They were talking about how everything in life is about currency.
Yep.
And I don't mean dollars and donuts. Right? I literally mean if I've got this run that I'm going to go do, God knows I love my long runs, it comes with a cost, right? Yes, I'm going to make money, but at the expense of what?
Time.
At the expense of time. Time that can be spent with my wife, time that can be spent with my dog, and time that can be spent doing other work.
And it comes with another risk too that you might not have thought of.
Which is
Risk itself.
more risk because you're on the road.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those goddamn sissies.
Well, it's something that you can, if you're trying to break it down into everything's a currency, you can also factor in risk factor.
Yeah, but
that too, which also
the risk is such as we're talking fractions of a penny on the dollar.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're like my mother. Oh my God, I read a story that somebody died the other day taking a shower. They slipped and fell. You should get a mat in there. Would you like? I read on the news the other day that somebody got punched in the mouth for giving me their opinion. Actually, that's really mean. I was talking about my mother in this story, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a risk to everything you do. That's the one that might get me in trouble. Speaking of risk, but no, I don't take that into account. What I mean is, you pay for everything with something else.
Mm.
Everything you do, you pay for, right? You want to have a good time on a Friday night, you're going to pay for it on Saturday morning, right? You took yesterday's or tomorrow's happiness and borrowed it for today. You want to go out and make that money, it's going to come at the cost of something else. There's always a cost in everything we do. Your risk thing can come into play with, if you want to talk about, every time you take a chance, you're paying a toll. And eventually the tax man's coming to collect it, right? Like, you're paying a fee every time you take a risk, and eventually the tax man comes. But so everything, though, it's like, hey, I got a job to go make great money, but it's over here, right? At what cost, at what dollar value is it worth it to you? Right? Like, we've joked around. I've offered you a job before.
Yep.
It would come at the cost of being close to your family. At what dollar do you sell your soul? And I'm not asking you for a physical dollar, but what I'm saying is, like, you know what I mean? I think everyone has that price tag.
Yep.
At what dollar?
It's different for everyone.
I think it is different for everyone. You separating you from your mama? Whew, I don't think I can afford that price tag. You two are tight.
Wow. She's the only family I got other than my girlfriend.
You have uncles and aunts, don't you? Cousins?
Cousins that have borrowed money from us and never talked to us again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can I be your cousin?
No.
Sounds like a win-win.
Not for the show.
I get the money and I don't have to talk to you no more. I'll be your cousin.
Well, sorry, my dad, but I don't really talk to him.
Yeah, I want to bring that up more after the show. I don't want to bring that up on the air because I've never really had that conversation with you. So maybe we'll keep that for the live episode that is airing July 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will find out what happened to TowManG's dad.
Oh, that's a hell of a story. I don't know if I can share that on the show.
Would you actually share it on the show, on the live?
I don't know.
You don't know? I don't want to pressure you and put you on the spot here.
It involves a trumpet and a hospital visit. That's all I gotta say.
Okay. I will make. Okay. Speaking of currency and everything comes with a cost, what would be the cost that we would have to get? And not even money wise, like, what would be a target goal that if we achieved, you will tell the story of a trumpet, your dad, and a hospital visit? Like, is there a, like, if this clip gets 100 reactions on Facebook?
We're currently sitting at 325 subscribers on YouTube.
Okay.
If we can hit 400 in a week, I guess.
If we hit 400 YouTube subscribers,
before the live show,
before the live on July 8th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern God's time, you will tell us the story. I can deep dive on your dad, and you'll tell us the story, something to do with a trumpet and a hospital visit.
Correct.
Will this story make you cry?
No.
Will the story make me cry?
Of laughter, maybe.
Okay. 400 subscribers on YouTube before July 8th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern God's time. Our live episode, and TowManG will tell that story. Clip it, put it on social media. I want to hear this story. If not, can I still hear the story off the record?
Maybe after the live.
Okay, fair enough. But I want to hear it on the live. Like, guys, I will make you a deal. We hit that same target. I have probably one of the most embarrassing stories that my family likes to tell about me at one of my family get-togethers. I will share it on the live as well if we can hit the 400. And it's embarrassing. It's bad.
So you get dirt on both us and our families if we can hit 400 subscribers on YouTube.
On YouTube, 400 subscribers on YouTube. If we can do it before the live episode on July 8th. Wow, this is I regret making that pledge and hope to God we don't do it.
Clap it. But no, currency. Everything's based on currency, and currency is time that you will never get back. Like, just in the time that we sit down for the hour and record this podcast, that's an hour we'll never get back of our lives. And like, that's one of my things where, especially if you're working on commission, if someone asks you to come in on one of your days off that you might already have plans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no guarantee of me coming in and making money that day.
Zero.
So now I got to kind of gamble with my time and currency. Will I go into work and make $1,000 that day? Probably not. But there is a chance.
It is literally when you're working on commission, it's like a gamble, right?
Yeah. And especially if it's you're going in on your day off, so you're not planning on going in to work that day. You haven't allocated that time to go in and work that day. It for myself, it's hard for me to justify. No, you can say, oh, because I'm a part-time driver, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, I have other things that I can do that will give me more satisfaction and more currency to myself rather than going and gambling if it's going to be a slow day. And especially for me in the position I'm in where I have to sit in the tow truck all day if we're not busy because I can't go home. For someone who's on call, it's probably not as big of a deal. And
You
that
know how much
can go
work
home.
you could get done if you just bought a laptop for this podcast and when you do have those quiet days, work away at it? That's an investment. That's not a gamble.
Hmm.
If we get to 500 likes by the live show, G will go buy a nice laptop and work on the podcast all the time when he has
Well, I
slow
wouldn't
days.
say all the time. I still have to work.
I would, well, whenever you get work. But no, it's true. It's time you take away and it's a risk you take. And commission is definitely it. I don't know. We ask guys to come in and work on their days off, but completely understand when they can't.
Mm.
Right? Try to be very respectful of drivers and their time off.
Mm.
That being said, it is a piss off sometimes when there's no flexibility. Right? Like I got drivers that if I ever ask them, hey, I'm kind of stuck in a pinch, count me up. Yeah, no problem. And then I got drivers who like, hey, and it's like, nah. And I'm like, you don't even know what, no.
Hmm.
And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, especially in towing where I find it's very much, and even, I don't want to call us a big company, but we're a bigger company, I guess.
Yeah.
It is still very like close and tight knit.
Mm.
It's like, you know what I mean? Helping out is not just, you're not just a number helping out. You're one of the family, you're one of the guys, you're one of the group.
Mm.
It's a game of give and take. Right? Towing has already been a game of give and take. It's, and I think when we talk about currency, it's very important to remember that, it is give and take. It can't be all take.
Mm.
There's got to be give, right? There's got to be some mutual between the industry, that respect of time that you've got to put that time in, but time that you also got to take away, right? Time that you got to take that break. Like, when was the last time you took a vacation? Meaning more than just, let's say, a scheduled weekend off. Have you ever actually, from the towing industry or from one of your jobs, actually gone like, I'm taking a week and I'm going? No? Why not?
Well, I mean, like in my current schedule, I have 4 days off in a row every other week, so I can get a fair bit done in those 4 days.
But it's not even just about getting a fair bit done. It's about actually taking a legitimate break. Like, if you could then take 3 days off and end up with a whole week.
Well, I've actually thought about taking, so the way the schedule work, I could probably take 2 days off and it would work out to where I get a full week off. And in that week, I was going to rent a forestry mulcher and mulch my whole property to make it easier to put up paddocks for cattle. And that was going to be my vacation away from work, is sitting in a skid steer for a week straight.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you understand how the vacation thing works.
That would be my vacation.
I'm the
Because
first guy to work hard.
that's adding more currency to my dream of having a farm.
You say I work too much. I just work too much in the same industry. That's what the fight is now. It's not about me working too much.
Yeah.
It's that I work too much in towing for your likings. I work hard, play hard, right? I'm a big believer in that. Like, I was away last weekend golfing. Guys trip down to Quebec. Great time. That's what I work for, so I can go do that. right? Going away, not away really this weekend, but going to the show and that celebrate our anniversary and a nice dinner. That's what I work for, right? I work for, like, we work for different things at the end of the day. But I think as an operator, it's important what do you work for?
Yeah.
What are you just working for your day off? And I find a lot of operators doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I did that for many years where I worked for my day off, right? I worked to get to that day off. But what currency is it worth? How much time away is it worth? And everyone is different. And I think the ones where that number is real low, or real high, I should say, are the ones that don't hang around in the towing industry. Right?
I have a real problem with working to your day off, because you're just fast forwarding through life at that point.
It's true.
Right? You've put the dollar figure on the majority of your life to be next to zero if you're just fast forwarding. Now, if you're grinding and you've got a goal, you've set your or you wrote your obituary and you're working backwards in a plan, and you've got steps in place to achieve your end goals.
Yep.
Then sure. Like if you need to work 90 hours in a week to make X amount of dollars to get you that next step closer, sure, cool. But if you've got no dream, no ambition to what you want to do for the rest of your life, or what you want to build or accomplish, what do you want to make your family name worth, and you're just fast forwarding through life, I'm lost for words at that. And a lot of people are like that, and I find myself sometimes slipping back into that mindset. And then I really got to sit down and look at my goals and my plans and go over the steps of how to get there.
Yeah, but I think you can work towards a goal without, like, working towards your day off without just fast forwarding, though. Like, I think you can enjoy what you're doing, but you know, when the time gets tough, when the grind really hits, if you know what I mean, right? And what is that thing that gets you through those tough times? And it is the upcoming break, and the time to have some personal time to yourself, and the time to be, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I think of when I say working towards your day off.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I guess.
Like, I don't fast forward through anything. I try not to, but with the way it feels lately, I swear to God, time's flying faster and faster and faster.
We're at episode 100 next week.
Episode 100 already. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, everything just seems to be going quicker and quicker, and there's not enough hours in the day. And you know what I mean? But it's not like we're fast forwarding it through it. Like, I still work for those days off sometimes, that I still go like, yeah, that is what I'm excited for, is the, you know, the time away with my wife, the golf trip that I just went on, the tow show coming up in September, right? Where we're going to spend some time away. I'm taking the weekend off before it, and the weekend of it, I might bridge that together. I've got some time saved up and put it right through the middle of it.
Yeah.
And just take the full week off. So no, I think that's what's important, is that you got to have, no matter what you're working towards something, right? Even if you say you're working towards buying a house, doesn't mean that all that time you spend in between was just fast forwarding to get into that buy the house. But you're working towards some sort of satisfaction, some sort of dopamine hit, something that is going to keep you happy. And for some, it is those days off, and it's that time to relax and enjoy with their loved ones, right? I'm finding this next generation is soft. Right? Like, I got some guys right now that are soft, right? They're coming to me with, I got this and this and this and this and this and this. And, you know, money problems. I mean, money problems are a real thing in the world today. Like, the economy is absolute shit in many ways. So I completely understand, and I completely respect money problems. But guess what doesn't help those? Taking time off. Not showing up for work because you got a headache and your tummy hurts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, work towards when those are those days where things get tough. Those are those days where you need to have something to look forward to. Because I've done those long stretches, man. Right? Like, I've done 30 days. I've done over 30 days straight, where there's a call on each day. You have nothing to look forward to. All you have to look forward to is another day of work, and that's where it gets long. And that's where it's easy just to zone out and fast forward. But when you got those 2 days off coming up, that I'm going to get out and I'm going to, you know, go golfing. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go camping. I'm going to go see the guys. I'm going to go spend time with the family. Whatever it is, that's your currency. You're working all week towards that currency. That's the carrot at the end of the stick that I'm just trying to get to. Yeah. I don't know. I think everyone's got their goals. Everyone's got their ambitions. There's good and bad in the industry. There's bad names. There's good names. There's good people. There's bad people. I don't know which side we fall on yet. But all I want to know is I want to find out about a story about a man and a trumpet and a hospital visit on July 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern God's time. Head on over to our Facebook page. Like us over there if you haven't already. I mean, I don't know how you found this podcast if you don't like us on YouTube or on Facebook. But if you haven't, head over to either of those places. Get the notify, get the follow, get the bell, get all that good stuff so you can be notified when we go live. It'll be a Saturday night. I'm going to pick up some wonderful refreshments. We're going to put some giveaways together for our fans for our 100th episode. There'll be chances to win, and we'll tell you how to do it. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. We'll reach out to some of our amazing sponsors to see what kind of packages they want to put together. And we will see you all there. That is the next episode. There is no more to this episode is over. The next time we're going to see us, it is now, is going to be July 8th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern God's time. I'm not a religious person. That's what's funny. I love God's time, but I'm so non-religious.
I've never heard anyone call it God's time.
I don't know. It's 4th of July. God bless America.
God bless America.
See ya.
Toodles.